I
food,
agree.
humans making food, the power of food, you know,
I
the
mean,
power
people
of,
laugh at me because I have like a testimony of the power of food and not just in your body and food as medicine, although that's true, but as a tool to connect people. I don't think that we think enough about or add enough value to how food connects people. And I'm
yeah,
not just necessarily talking, I'm talking about the conversations we have over it, the conversations we have
yeah,
about it,
yeah,
the connections we make with farmers and with other people. It's so foundational to us. We eat, like you said, 3 times a day.
yeah. That's why this episode was like, I think, really kind of epic, especially
Mhm.
Asher and JC both being on this episode.
Yeah.
Holy man, indoor, outdoor, soil, soilless. We bridged some gaps there, but also can we talk about Asher? That
I'd love
guy,
to talk about, you know,
he is a gem.
he is, and he can do, I feel like he is one of those kinds of people who can diagnose a problem and then go and fix the problem. Or, like he said, help you fix your own problem. And we need more of those people in the world. There's an awful lot of problems around us, and we need problem solvers. Um,
He's as kind as he is smart.
yeah,
And
you
I
feel
guess
that from him, don't you?
do we throw
Yeah,
handsome in there too? Do we like,
sure. Yeah,
aestheticize our farmers? I
absolutely.
mean, look, if
He's just a lovely
anything,
person, lovely human being.
if you're on TikTok or Instagram or you're doing all the scrolling, go meet your farmer. I think you'll be surprised. You'll fall in love, which is important, with their heart and with their just, I don't know,
Yep.
their just sheer perseverance, which is also one thing
Hmm.
that came up on the conversation as a
Hmm.
superpower, perseverance, farmers,
Yep.
wow.
They have to have it because year to year, it doesn't matter what you do. Ultimately, a big part of farming is way outside of your control. Even for somebody like JC who does so much of his work indoors, things can go wrong, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you can lose power or your system, your soil medium can be wrong or whatever. I mean, there's always
totally.
things that can go wrong. But I love that we heard from both of them, and they both part of their message was consistent, which is that um, we can be more self-reliant and we can be more empowered when it comes to our food.
Yeah.
We can choose to get our food from hydroponic farmers or from organic regenerative farmers, or we can grow it ourselves if we want to. There are so many ways that we can be empowered when it comes to our food rather than just picking it up at the store and not thinking twice.
Local, local, local. That's what I really got in today. And the regenerative
All
aspect is,
local.
of course, something we're trying to figure out and understand. And Asher helped us really understand that too. It seems like a lot of the conversation today revolved around also humanity,
Hmm.
the humaneness of farming as well, what that means. I was really touched by that. That's all. I was really touched by the fact that we got
Yeah,
to discuss a little bit about like female farmers and women farmers, some female farmers. It's just like such a F squared.
it's different. I'm
You
just
know,
kidding.
yeah,
Well,
but
and
farmers, yeah, exactly. Go for it,
and
because
just by their nature, I think farmers are sort of regenerative long path thinkers, right? Ari Wallach and long path. Like they think about how is this going to affect my soil, right? For the next season and 5 years down the road and 10 years down the road. And they think about what am I going to do with this farm when I'm done farming and it's
who do
time
I
to
leave
move
this
on.
land to?
Yeah,
Yeah,
who do I leave
exactly.
the land to? Who am I going to share this information with so that they can grow in their own lives? That seems to be the way that all farmers think, actually, even the ones who are you know, um, in the middle of Illinois farming, 20,000 acres of corn or something. Like they're thinking about it too. They have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
in order to grow.
I think
Yep.
what's unique, there are two things that were really unique about this episode is that, we didn't touch so much about a growing culture, which of course, Asher has stepped away from being a co-founder, co-partner in. Um, it was a dialogue we brought to the United Nations Food System Summit because there was a protest or pushback about the UNFSS,
Mm.
um, and not bringing the right people to the table. And it was
Mm.
the first time that was flagged to me. So it was really great that I got to understand that, ask all of us on the team, right? Like, do we bring this message to? And we did. We put a disclaimer. We're like, yes, we're pushing all these different conversations. And there's another conversation happening outside of these doors that has to do with kind of people, equity, justice, diversity, inclusion, um, which Asher is very much. behind
Yep.
that narrative.
You can see his passion for that, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yep. Yeah. It doesn't.
I love this episode. What do you think about this episode? As a wrap up, like why should people listen
I
to this
loved it.
episode?
This
Like
is look. This is
why
something.
would you want to listen to this episode?
Well, because I eat and I love food, and I'm a female, as you called me earlier, and so for me, I have to. Well, and
You can't own land, by the way. We all
I
know
own some
this.
land, and I come from, not recent generations, but a few generations back. I come from farming people, and so I'm really passionate about this. Actually, um I see that there's not enough equity when it comes to access to actual good food. There just isn't. I live in a pretty wealthy community, so people in my community can go to Trader Joe's, I guess, if they're willing to drive a little, or they can, belong to the organic CSA where it's more expensive. But I also, just on the other side of the lake where I live, is a very different demographic, and they don't have access to almost any grocery store to begin with, but certainly not food that is carefully grown or that is going to add to their health and vitality. And they don't have the means to drive to some farm 20 miles away and pick it up. And so there are a lot of pieces of this that resonate with me personally. So for that
Amazing.
reason and many others, I love this episode.
Same,
Very timely.
same. Same. Grow some
Same.
food. Learn how to, what's going on with your farmer. I think I'm gonna have to do some research right now and just go out and like shake the hand of some of the farmers here in my own community. Take my own challenge, right?
Take your own challenge. And
Take your own
it,
challenge.
it came up a little bit that when the COVID lockdowns initially happened and there was a lot of food scarcity and people didn't know what to do, and everybody was growing a garden. Everybody,
We were doing victory
I
farms during
was,
Sky
we
Farms. Remember?
were, we all were.
We were talking about how to do victory farms and DIY and
Hmm.
also JC. He
JC was right there
provided
helping
Sky
us.
Farms an entire manual of how to build your own hydroponic system.
Hmm.
It's right there on the website at underonesky.life. It's still there, all those resources to do that. So,
But that just shows us how, our food system is so dependent on a lot of externalities that we don't have any control over. So again, if you can get it locally and if you know who your farmers are, that's unfortunately we might have to revisit that in the future. So
yeah,
yeah, we can be prepared for the things that come our way.
become a food citizen, people. Stop consuming and get involved. And that's what this episode's all about. Get involved with your farmer, get involved in any way, inside, outside, soil,
Mhm.
soilless.
What
Let's
does your
eat
community
together.
need and how can
Yeah,
you benefit? How can you
exactly. Exactly.
bless your community?